Welcome to the John and Heidi Show podcast.
John and Heidi.
Here's John and Heidi.
Thank you for listening to the John and Heidi Show this weekend. Hey, baby, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Fantastic. I'm excited for a second scoop today. I got a lot of stuff that I've been saving up that we just haven't had a chance to get to. So every time we get to a weekend, we have the second scoop, and we got all kinds of fun stuff to share with you for that coming up today. Study shows that the sounds of barking actually raises stress levels in dogs. So if you have a dog that's got like a neighbor dog that's barking a lot, it increases your dog's stress level. That makes sense, though. It's kind of like they're getting yelled at all day, really, isn't it?
I have no idea.
I don't know.
I think they could understand what the dogs are saying, so it wouldn't be stressful.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know what those dogs are saying next door. Hey, if patients visiting the emergency room of Oakwood Hospital in Dearborn, Michigan don't see a doctor in 30 minutes, there's a policy that stipulates they will receive an apology and a free movie pass. That's a good idea for every waiting room. I think the doctors, they'd either get to it a whole lot quicker or they'd have a whole lot of free movie passes going out. Coming up, we'll find out what special things are happening this weekend. That is on the way. Today is a special day, Heidi. Do you know what today is?
What is today, John?
Thought you'd never ask. Let's do the whole darn weekend. Saturday, October the 15th is Blind Americans Equality Day, Bridge Day, Global Hand Washing Day. So shouldn't we wash our hands every day? Apparently today's the day all around the globe, though. International Day of Rural Women. I Love Lucy Day. Our daughter could celebrate that. National Cake Decorating Day. National Cheese Curd Day. National Grouch Day. National Latino AIDS Awareness Day. National Pregnancy and Infant Loss Awareness Day. And Sweetest Day. Sunday, the 16th of October, is National Feral Cat Day. Department Store Day. Dictionary Day. National Sunday School Teacher Appreciation Day, World Toy Camera Day, and World Food Day. You were a Sunday school teacher for a while, weren't you?
Yes.
And I did that as well for about a year. Was it a year or 2 years?
It wasn't Sunday school. It was...
Well, same thing, though. It was church classes.
Yeah.
They weren't on Sundays. But so anyway, celebrate all of those folks and all of that stuff this special weekend.
John and Heidi.
Legally, we gotta have insurance. That's why getting the very best rate is paramount. I'm Jared Parsons. I founded the first national and virtual insurance agency. Until now, you were limited to the agents in your area. But what if the rates are better somewhere else? At Parsons, we shop around and we get you the best rate. It's that simple. Go to radioinsuranceguy.com. That's radioinsuranceguy.com.
You know it's true because you heard it on the radio. You don't ever want to bring a waffle to a gunfight. It's not usually going to work so hot, is it?
I don't know what in the world you're talking about.
It says, next time you're eating at the Waffle House on Paxville Highway in Manning, South Carolina, do not mess with the waitress, 29-year-old Yakisha Ward. You probably won't have a chance. Well, she's actually in jail right now, but someday... maybe she'll get a chance to come back. She got in a dispute with a customer. Ward got into an argument with a customer, Crystal Samuel, and Samuel allegedly ended up throwing a waffle at the waitress. That is when Ward jumped over the counter, and as Samuel said, "We got into it," end quote. The fight moved outside where Ward somehow got a gun from her car,
Whoa.
and then she didn't shoot, though. Samuel did apologize, and then she pistol whipped her in the head about the time the police rolled up and arrested Ward. As for Ms. Samuel, she said that she has only one thing to say about the Waffle House there in South Carolina. She said, bad customer service. Do you think you got pistol whipped by a waitress?
Wow.
You know, I want to just make sure everybody understands that's not like that at all at Waffle House restaurants or restaurants in general. But you're going to have some people that are kind of not necessarily the best waitress or whatever the profession. There's going to be some that don't do a good job. I think she just gets the award for maybe being the worst waitress ever. She jumped over the counter and got in a fight.
Well, somebody threw something at her. I would jump over the counter and fight too.
I don't know that I'm...
She shouldn't have had to stand there passively because somebody did something like that
to
her. That's not right.
Throw things, but do you think pistol whipping was necessary? That might have been a little bit extreme.
Shoot her.
Heidi's on her side. All right. You know it's true because you heard it on the radio.
John and Heidi.
The John and Heidi Show is brought to you in part by the Keystone Treatment Center.
This is your brain, and this is your brain on drugs. We share silly stories here on the program, but addiction is no joke. If you or someone you know suffers with an addiction to drugs or alcohol, make today the day you seek help.
Call toll-free 844-204-1055.
That's a toll-free number. Again,
844-204-1055.
And this is your brain on drugs. Authorities in Lincoln, Nebraska report that a man called police for help, saying somebody was breaking into his apartment. When officers arrived, they found the apartment manager trying to get into the unit that was supposed to be vacant. Police say the man who had called them was in the apartment illegally.
Oh.
Officers report finding 3 pounds of marijuana and equipment to use to grow marijuana and $3,500 in cash. The alleged squatter was busted. Here's my question for you. If he's got all that cash sitting there, why wouldn't he have just paid rent?
Right.
I mean, you were the one that called the police, you moron.
Yeah.
That's not a smart idea. When you're sitting in there with illegal drugs and illegal cash, why would you call the police?
Right.
Why not just pay the rent? And it turns out that he wasn't even supposed to be there. It was supposed to be a vacant apartment. So that doesn't make a whole ton of sense. Anyway, kids, that's what happens when your brain is on drugs.
John and Heidi.
We got your moment of duh for today, and we're going to talk about Burger King right here. There was a Burger King that was maybe the whole have it your way didn't quite work out for them. A man tried to walk through the drive-thru at a Burger King window in Salt Lake City, Utah, at about 9:30 Monday night. The restaurant staff told him, "I'm sorry, we can't serve pedestrians at this window." So the guy pounded on the glass even more, and they said, "We can't help you. You have to be in a vehicle. We can't help you." And I'm sure it's because of insurance reasons, so nobody gets run over in their driveway.
It's dangerous.
Anyway, he didn't like that answer, so he went to a nearby payphone and called in a bomb threat. He was found minutes later and arrested. So, yeah, that didn't work out so hot for him. We've got McDonald's in the news as well. We're going to get to that in our scoop of the day. So we got BK here and McDonald's there. And I think it's an interesting story that's coming up. So that's on the way. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show.
The Scoop of the Day is brought to you by Wells Blue Bunny. If you want delicious ice cream, be sure to look for the Blue Bunny. Sure to have your favorite flavors. Learn more at bluebunny.com.
Now, your Scoop of the Day. Ronald McDonald, the iconic clown mascot of Mickey D's, is laying low until this clown craze dies down in America. We talked about this off the air. Heidi was never a fan of... Why didn't you like Ronald McDonald?
I have nothing against Ronald McDonald.
Oh, I thought you said he was creepy anyways.
All clowns are creepy.
She's just not a fan of clowns. Time magazine.
But he's not one of the clowns that people are looking... I mean, the clowns that people are trying to harm are those scary face-looking clowns. Yeah, and I don't think Ronald McDonald would have any issues
probably
going
not.
about his job.
But the Burger King mascot might, because that guy's kind of creepy looking.
Guy's creepy.
Remember him? The plastic head guy? I'm like, that's kind of scary. I don't know why you guys are doing that. So anyway, Ronald McDonald's going to lay low for a while. And the aftermath of Hurricane Matthew's path through Florida, it may have been the oddest call to 911 operators. A bald eagle had gotten stuck in the grill of a car. A driver in the area near Jacksonville made a unique emergency call. Officials said the mature bird was pulled out and turned over to the Bird Emergency Aid Sanctuary, and the bird is going to be just
I
fine.
saw that online.
I did too. I was like, you know what? That right there shows it's like the strength of the country. You know, you can run into me with that car, but I'm going to get up and fly away. Hurricane Matthew also gave beachgoers an unexpected surprise last weekend as the beach storm generated powerful currents that unearthed a pile of cannonballs near Charleston, South Carolina, that are thought to date back to the Civil War era.
Oh, wow, cool.
Charleston County Sheriff's Office was called to investigate, and they brought in their bomb technicians along with specialists from the U.S. Air Force. And they got there and they're like, it's a bunch of cannonballs. Look at that. So they've been there for quite some time. So you've got a beautiful BMW E30 M3, and now Hurricane Matthew is coming. Just how far would you go to protect your prized vehicle? Well, in Port St. Lucie, Florida, Randy Jolly became a viral sensation among car enthusiasts after he posted Instagram photos of his Beamer parked inside of his living room.
Oh.
Apparently there was no room in the garage? Not sure. So he parked his BMW in his living room to make sure that everything was going to be fine.
I wonder how he got it inside.
I have no clue.
Must have big doors.
Apparently, because that does, that's something. How many other people probably heard that story and never even thought of that? That's why it's good to have you here. You always think of those things that other people might not think of. ISIS is in the news again. They have confirmed the death of their chief of propaganda. So who put it out? If the chief of propaganda, we got a press release here from the guy that's dead, saying that he's dead. Ken Bone. You know who Ken Bone is?
I have no idea.
You'll know
I heard
who he is.
Something about him online today, but I didn't even look it up.
If you watched the debate last week, the presidential debate, he was the adorable, huggable red sweater guy. Yeah, that's Ken Bone. Undecided voter Ken Bone could be coming to your Halloween party. The big, huggable, kind, and also some refer to as sexy. I'm not sure if that's the case. Maybe I'm sexy too, because he's about my size. The website Yandy says there's a sexy undecided voter costume for women as well. But if you'd like to see all of this, I've got a link to it on our Facebook page, facebook.com/John and Heidi Show. He is an undecided voter still, by the way. It says here that he will not endorse Hillary or Donald Trump. And if you're waiting for an endorsement from the red sweater fan, Ken Bone, not going to happen. He told MSNBC on Tuesday, I'm not going to be doing any press for either campaign. I'm happy to do as much media as people think that I need to do to talk about getting people out to vote. I will state that I will not endorse either candidate. You will never hear me say who I'm going to vote for before the election is over. If you hear that I'm voting for one of those candidates, that's not true because I will not say. It's a good idea.
That is a good idea.
It's a very good idea. So there you go. Ken Bone, you got my respect, my friend. And I'm going to be you for Halloween because all I got to do is wear a red sweater. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show.
John and Heidi.
Election day is almost here. No matter which side you're rooting for, you now have a place to get informed and to truly voice your opinion at PoliticalStorm.com. An amazing resource with information from people on both sides of the aisle, all in one place. Watch videos, read blogs, listen to podcasts like mine, and read fun editorials. You can also contribute with your own blog for free. Be a part of the community at PoliticalStorm.com. You have a choice, and now you have a voice, too, at PoliticalStorm.com. That's PoliticalStorm.com. Now your second scoop. It's the weekend. We get a second scoop today. Listen to this one. Here's where we're going to start, Heidi. 80,000 trout set free accidentally. Fishermen and women are rushing to a body of water in western Denmark to catch some of the 80,000 farmed rainbow trout that were accidentally released into the Danish waters. They're not dreaming of an endless fish fry. The fishermen and women are hoping to keep the trout from upsetting the ecological balance in the area. A cargo ship accidentally tore apart and a fish farm net. It tore apart a fish farm net. There we go. That makes more sense. So there's a fish farm that had these fish netted off so they weren't in with the general population. Well, a big shipping boat, cargo ship, ripped through the net accidentally, and now there's 80,000 trout that were set free because of that. That's not good. It says here, authorities fear the farmed trout will eat the eggs of other trout species. Environmental groups are urging anglers to grab their rods and catch as many as possible. When is the last time you heard an environmental group tell people that?
Exactly.
I mean, that just doesn't happen. So it sounds like some fishing time right now there in Denmark. That would be, here would be my luck, Heidi. If we would go all the way to Denmark to go fishing in that, I would get there and I'd still not catch a single one.
No, I wouldn't catch anything.
Pants make thief. Let me try this again. Pants thief. I'm going to just skip the headline. We're going to dive right in. A department store manager at a store in China took inventory after store hours and discovered that some pants were missing. They chalked it up to shoplifting, finished inventory, and headed home for the night. The next night, when they were doing inventory again, they noticed the stolen pants were back, but a different pair and a different size were missing. They think the thief stole the pants, later found the stolen pants didn't fit him, returned to the store and secretly replaced them and took a different pair.
Either that or their counts were just off.
Yeah, that could be too.
It's probably more likely.
Or this thief brought those pants back because I don't need those sitting around. They're not my size anyway. I don't know. Either way, it's an interesting story. I'm going to try the headline one more time, though. Pants thief makes exchange. That doesn't even sound right, but that's what it is. All right.
Huh.
Hey, when you order decaffeinated coffee, your coffee apparently isn't entirely decaffeinated. University of Florida study shows almost all decaf coffee contains some a little bit of caffeine in there. Could be big for people that are told to avoid caffeine because of certain medical conditions like high blood pressure or kidney disease or anxiety disorders. Researchers say that if someone drinks 5 to 10 cups of decaf per day, it would equal a cup or two of caffeine in caffeinated coffee. Things to remember is decaf is not the same as caffeine-free coffee. They're two completely different things. So now I'm completely confused. We've got caffeine in our coffee, right?
Oh yeah, always.
Yeah, that's good stuff. I like that. I've been places where all they have, like they were out of coffee and all they had left was decaffeinated, and I had it. It tastes kind of the same to me, really.
Yeah, it doesn't taste any.
Like, I don't think it really. So either that, or maybe like this story says, is they just put regular coffee in the decaf pot. That could be too. Hey, according to a recent poll, 38% of dog owners love their pets more than they love their partner. I think today Heidi would fall in that category.
Yeah, I'm a little irritated with you today.
I can tell. You're awfully quiet over there. The survey of dog owners finds that they are companions who provide emotional support and joy in our lives. So there you go. Sounds to me like the dogs do no wrong, and us men, or if it's ladies taking the survey, and if it's ladies taking the survey, then it would be men. If it's men taking the survey, it'd be ladies. They're just not happy with their spouse, but they're always happy with their puppy dog. Because, how could you not be, right?
Well, unless they poop on the floor.
Well, then, yeah. And if I pooped on the floor, you'd be mad at me, too. So
You pee on the floor.
No, I don't.
Piss in the toilet.
I don't think that happens at all. All right. Hey, do you think you're hooked on Facebook? But all those sneaky Workday news feeds might add up a little bit. According to numbers from Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg, they really, really, really do add up. Says it was revealed by the company that the average user spends 46 minutes per day on Facebook, and a lot of those are falling during company hours. Mm-hmm. So they're just peeking on there for a second. I catch myself. I just got a different computer here, and I had to change things on the computer. What was the thing called that was popping up?
I don't know. You were getting notifications.
Notifications, yeah. I changed the notifications because Facebook thinks it's more important than everything else. So they would just pop up and tell me, hey, this is going on. I'm like, I don't care. And our final story, the director of the Congressional Budget Office admitted that nearly 800,000 Americans will lose their jobs before 2021 as a result of Obamacare. How crazy is that? 800,000 Americans.
Yeah.
So that is not good news. And I think the timing on that story coming out is pretty suspect right before the election. So I'm not exactly sure why a government agency would have put that out right now. You'd think that they'd want to keep that secret. Coming up in a bit, we've got some special things to talk about. Fun facts, that's on the way.
John and Heidi.
Are you ready for Duel? Kyle Dowling on guitar, Brett Gunderson on bass, Sam DeVito on drums, and frontman Duel Shape.
Gotta keep rocking, gotta keep sucking, bringing it down like rain.
Duel's new single just hit iTunes and it's selling fast. Get your copy now.
When you're lacking chains and you feel no pain, Supernova gonna get you too.
Their first single, Supernova, is available now for less than $1. Learn more and find a direct link to buy Supernova at facebook.com/Duel Rocks.
Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
Gary Berghoff, who played Radar on the TV show MASH, had a deformed left hand. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
I knew that because when I was a kid, my dad told me that, and he would always try to point it out. I was like, look, right there, right there. And he always kept his left hand out of view of the camera. It was either in his pocket, under a clipboard, because there was something different with his hand.
Huh.
But there were a few times where you could see it, and my dad would always point it out. He's like, there, see it, see it. I'm like, I don't even know what I'm looking for, Dad. Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
Elvis Presley had a twin brother. Did you know that?
Yes, I did.
He died at birth, and Elvis's middle name is Aaron, because his brother's name was Garen. So there you go. Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
Ernest Vincent Wright wrote a novel, Gadsby, which contains over 50,000 words. None of them contain the letter E. Did you know that?
What?
Yeah.
How is that even possible?
Gadsby, the book Gadsby, does not have the letter E anywhere, which I think is absolutely fascinating. But I can't say fascinating because I think there's an E in there somewhere. Anyway, Gadsby doesn't have it. That's why it's not The Great Gatsby, because then there'd be a couple. There's no E? I don't know. No. F-A-S-E. I don't know. I'm not so good at that stuff. What's it called again? Spelling? All right. Couple of fun facts for you this weekend. Thanks for listening to The John and Heidi Show.
John and Heidi.
Legally, we gotta have insurance. That's why getting the very best rate is paramount. I'm Jared Parsons. I founded the first national and virtual insurance agency. Until now, you were limited to the agents in your area. But what if the rates are better somewhere else? At Parsons, we shop around and we get you the best rate. It's that simple. Go to radioinsuranceguy.com. That's radioinsuranceguy.com.
John and Heidi.
Thank you for listening to the John and Heidi Show this weekend. I have some good news, Heidi.
What's that?
Listening to the John and Heidi Show can help you live longer.
Okay.
All right. I thought maybe you'd have a little more fanfare for that, because this is good news. Researchers in Copenhagen, Denmark, say you could add 20 years to your life and enjoy better health just by laughing a lot. They say a heart belly laugh once a day is as good for your heart as an hour of aerobic exercise.
Oh.
So a big, good, like real... Not the fake thing I just did. Kind of sounded like Santa there, didn't I?
You did a little bit, yeah.
No, not that, but a good laugh is just as good for you as an hour of aerobic exercise. Here's some tips on how you can laugh longer and harder and add some years to your life. Number 1, collect jokes. It says funny stories not only get you laughing, but they also help your friends laugh too. Listening to jokes and telling them adds minutes of laughter to your day, and that adds years to your life. Laughing is good, isn't it?
It is good.
It is. See a funny movie or a TV show. It says comedies tickle your funny bone and provide you with an endless amount of laughter.
We went to one the other night that was supposed to be funny, but I don't think any of us even laughed once.
No, it was awful. That was a terrible movie. Next one says read the funnies. There are enough zany characters in the comics to keep you laughing all day as well.
I can honestly say that I have never had a belly roll laugh from reading the funnies.
Oh, that crazy
Except
Garfield.
for when The Far Side was in. I used to laugh all the time at The Far Side, but ever since then...
You saying Beetle Bailey doesn't get you?
No, and Little Orphan Annie, and no.
I don't know if any of the cartoons we just talked about are even still around. There's probably kids listening right now going, who the heck is Beetle Bailey? And who's Orphan Annie? Find a funny friend. If people make you laugh, hang out with them more. Do something silly. Hang out with your friends. And the last tip on the list, listen to the John and Heidi Show.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. That one's in my handwriting. And it's all spelled wrong. All right. Coming up, we got some more fun stuff. That's on the way.
John and Heidi.
If you're a business owner or the person in charge of advertising, I have a special offer just for you. We're doing a jingle special this month. Did you know that when you put words to music, they're 9 times more memorable? How would you like to be the name in your industry and have people singing your song? We've worked with hundreds of small businesses to create their own musical image, and we want to help you too. Reach out right now and we'll give you $500 off. Squeeze it into this year's budget and get results for years to come. Learn more and hear examples at RadioReallyWorks.com. That's RadioReallyWorks.com. Oftentimes, it only looks like your hairdresser was blindfolded when they cut your hair, but this hairdresser is the real deal. A barber from India claims to have cut hair blindfolded for the past 20 years without ever injuring a customer. Why?
I've read about him online.
Jahalani is one of the most popular hairdressers in the town of Indore. Again, this is overseas. Says that he started wearing the blindfold to do something different. After initially cutting his finger a few times, he eventually got the hang of it. Now customers say he gets their hair just the way they want it, even though he can't see it. But anyone wanting to have their hair cut by Jihani has to be prepared to pay a little extra. A blindfold haircut costs 10 times more than his usual haircut.
That's ridiculous.
It is. And... that I'd say he saw you coming, but he didn't because he's blindfolded.
I wouldn't. So, I would not do that.
I would not either. Although half the time my hair looks like I was blindfolded when I got ready in the morning. So there you go.
John and Heidi.
This story really kind of upsets me. Anchorage, Alaska woman pled guilty. She pled, no contest to theft because she faked a pregnancy to get gifts from her friends and coworkers.
Oh, wow.
24-year-old Erica Duran told friends and coworkers she was pregnant. She collected more than $500 worth of cash and gifts And worse than that, she arranged a memorial service for her
fake
made-up stillborn twins. According to the Anchorage Daily News, her attorney said that she lied about getting pregnant because her husband had put pressure on her to become pregnant. So she made it up, and then it got way too far.
Then it just went a little out of control.
And then she's like, okay, now I got to pretend. So, yeah, that's not good. That's really sad on so many different levels. So, not good at all. Coming up, we've got something better. We've got some really fun stuff to share. That is all on the way. Thanks for listening to The John and Heidi Show.
John and Heidi.
Election day is almost here. No matter which side you're rooting for, you now have a place to get informed and to truly voice your opinion at PoliticalStorm.com. An amazing resource with information from people on both sides of the aisle, all in one place. Watch videos, read blogs, listen to podcasts like mine, and read fun editorials. You can also contribute with your own blog for free. Be a part of the community at PoliticalStorm.com. You have a choice, and now you have a voice, too, at PoliticalStorm.com. That's PoliticalStorm.com. Think about how people start their day. Quite often, they'll start with what? A cup of coffee. Yes. Many Americans start their day with a cup of coffee. But something that was kind of a cool thing on Friday, there were a lot of people who had coffee with a police officer. And it was a good thing. Police departments across the country celebrated Coffee with a Cop Day. And late last week, the meet and greets were first introduced in March of 2011 in Hawthorne, California. It's now spread all around the country and is recognized by nearly every law enforcement agency in the U.S. The police are hoping that the gesture of communicating on a personal level with their community will alleviate fear and anxiety that others may have about officers, while helping police better understand their community as well. I think that's awesome.
I think that's wonderful.
I think we need to be doing Coffee with a Cop. Why don't we do that all the time?
Because our cops are busy.
Well, we
got stuff going on.
You know what I would like to do? I'd like to schedule a ride-along. You've done that before.
That. Yeah.
I've never done that. Heidi's brother is a police officer. Actually,
yes, he is.
2 brothers are police officers.
Yep.
I have 3 brother-in-laws that are police officers. Mm-hmm. One is a highway patrolman, one is a sheriff's deputy, and one is a police officer. Mm-hmm. So they're all in the law enforcement field anyway. And that's why many times we have positive stories here about police officers, because we think very highly of the men and women who wear a badge and a uniform and keep us safe. I think that is a very high calling, and we're proud of them. So for those of you who made it out to Coffee with a Cop, thank you for doing that. And this is something I absolutely, positively want to do in the future. Guess what? We've got some good news coming your way. That's on the way next on The John and Heidi Show.
John and Heidi.
This portion of The John and Heidi Show is brought to you by The John and Heidi Show. That sounds kind of funny, but it's true. Go to your local radio station and ask them to start carrying The John and Heidi Show. Here's the best part. They can carry the show for free. They play a couple commercials, but it doesn't cost them anything every month. So if you know a radio station that could use a little bit of help, send them our way. Send them to johnandheidishow.com. Again, johnandheidishow.com. We would love to do a radio program in your community. Then you could listen to the podcast and listen to us on the radio.
John and Heidi.
We always try to wrap things up around here with some good news. And I think this is good news. The last story was good news too, really. The Coffee with a Cop. But take a listen to this. Aiden Heath was collecting pennies, and his collecting paid off when he came face to face or face to snout with his very own service dog, Angel. Listen to this. According to Yahoo, soon after the 8-year-old Vermont boy was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes 4 years ago, he learned about canines trained to help monitor glucose levels in people. Each service dog cost $15,000, so he started to save 1 penny at a time, and he kept that up for a little more than 4 years, even nicknaming the little red wagon that toted its coins around Brinks. In April, when Aiden was about $9,000 from his goal, the news coverage of his efforts helped bring donations from all across the U.S., and almost overnight, he raised more than $20,000.
Wow, that's
fantastic. And this week, his new puppy dog was delivered. And I've got a link to this story because I love these good news stories. I got a link to it at facebook.com/John and Heidi Show. And if you're looking for stuff to share on Facebook, we always try to have something shareable each day there because there's so many times we have negative stuff. I mean, Facebook is filled with negative stuff, just like the news is filled with negative stuff. We always want to make sure that we end on a positive, happy, upbeat note, and I would encourage you to share that if you get a chance to do it. So again, he's got his service dog.
That's awesome.
Raised
That's a great story.
$20,000, most of that in pennies. So that's a whole lot of pennies. Time to say goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, everybody. Have a great weekend. We appreciate you listening to the John and Heidi Show.